order. Welcome, everyone. We have present Emma Jack, Margaret Mastrangelo, Susan Mosler, Peter Lorre. Report from the health inspector. Ben is, I guess, just returning from vacation.
Yeah, so I can fill in on a couple of things.
Okay.
So it may actually drift into one of the other agenda items, but we have a lot of permit applications for the Asparagus Festival, which is June 3rd. Um, Ben is aware. Ben should be in tomorrow, even if he's not in tomorrow. We still have plenty of time to crank up permits, but we have a stack like that. It is not like last year.
Get all the work done.
Yeah, we will. So, but if you hear any concerns, we've
No.
got it. The other thing is that and again, maybe this is on the agenda as a separate item. Food trucks. Yeah, it's on here. Never mind. I'll hold off on the food truck thing because I see it's on the agenda later on down.
Okay. Update from the town RN. We don't have a town RN. Roxanne Dunn resigned immediately as of a few days ago. Not clear why, but we will. HR is going to repost, and I'm going to reach out to Alicia, see maybe if her life circumstances changed, and she might like to come back. She was terrific, but I will do that.
Okay.
And if we get any qualified applications, we will interview them. Permit applications, questions, concerns, follow up on establishments. Okay, who have not submitted permit. I went to Aldi, I went to Gregory's, and I went to Gilligan.
Yep.
So 2 out of 3
Right, we haven't heard from Aldi,
we have not at
so
all.
what do you all suggest? I spoke with the managers, who said she was gonna give it to the person who takes care of it.
So they have until Friday the 19th, but I don't know if you guys plan on meeting or when you plan on meeting after the 19th. I don't know if you plan on
I
meeting
would-
again in June.
I would say that, if we don't get it by the 19th, that we should levy a fine.
Mhm.
But how much are we allowed to
Oh, boy.
fine? It's somewhere.
Yeah.
So
see if we can-
so in the fee schedule, the first if you're late by, I think it's 30 days, it's $100, which
Right.
we incorporated in our
Right.
letter.
Right,
I think if it's 60 days, it's $200.
okay,
Wait, obviously we're way beyond because again,
right, so
they should have renewed back in
let's plan
December.
on a $200 fine.
Did the
And-
letters say what the fine would be?
What's that?
Did our letters say what the fine would be? I'm trying to pull it up.
The letter said that it's $100 fine if you pay by May 19th.
Right.
Okay, there's nothing in there saying
After.
after May
Alright, so
19th.
I'll go back to Aldi. And should we give them a date by which it's a shutdown date? And Emma, Margaret, how do
I
you
don't
want
know.
to?
Well,
I mean,
I think we should,
Pending to pay.
Yeah,
It's just that it's an administrative.
right, I mean, you're talking about shutting down, I would just increase the fine.
Yeah, so I'll go back and tell them that the fine is now $200.
Yeah, because the max that we can do for civil penalties is 300.
Yeah, so 100 for first 30 days, 200 for 60 days, and each month thereafter.
Yeah, except legally we're maxed out at 300 for civil penalties.
Okay,
Can I just interrupt for just a moment to ask that if you're the last out, if you can lock behind you, you know how to do it, right?
this door here.
Leave out that, shut off the sliders and then you exit out that
Oh,
door that
okay.
locks behind you. If you're last, climate change, I asked the same thing.
Okay, thanks, Haley.
Thanks, Haley. All right, so then we're talking 300.
As I'm gonna tell them it's an additional $200 fine.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, let me know if you don't get it by the day that they're supposed to have it in.
And
Yeah.
and then I went to Pride and handed in theirs. And then they responded saying that they were gonna renew the tobaccos immediately, right? And that they thought they had submitted payment for the food stuff in December, which you were gonna look into, right?
Right, so I received a phone call from them today, their corporate headquarters, wherever that is
I
now.
think, right, because they
Uh,
just got sold too.
Yeah, so
Kind of
this is
exchange.
the new company. And so what the lady told me today over the phone is that number one, they believe that the food permits for both locations had been renewed, but they never received the permits. But they had paid by way of MasterCard, which if they paid by way of MasterCard, they didn't pay the Board of Health. So what I've asked the lady to do is send me the documentation and I'll go upstairs and work with the treasury
Yeah.
people. In terms of the tobacco permits, they hadn't done anything. So so I helped the lady over the phone, go to our webpage, download the permit applications. They're gonna take care of that
Great.
right away, so they say, which I don't doubt. Seem like they're pretty well organized, but it's kind of a situation where I don't think they know what they don't know.
All right, it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
Good.
so I think we'll have at least the tobacco straightened out. I would say if not tomorrow, then on Monday. Food, again, I'll have to poke around and find out
All right, but you
who
work
and
with
how
that.
they might have gotten the money
Okay.
if they did.
Right,
All right, so
more to come there.
I would say our missions were successful.
What happened to Gregory's? I
What's
didn't
that?
hear that. You spoke,
He paid.
Had
okay,
been-
Gregory and the Korean
Okay.
place.
Yeah,
paid.
they paid.
Okay, water testing updates.
So I've been in musical emails going round and round, so, I have a pending phone call with someone on the Friends of Lake Warner.
Okay.
But it's been challenging
you.
to get to the right
Thank you.
best person.
Complaint about illegal dumping and uprooting of vegetation along the Connecticut River on Middle Street.
Yeah, so we received, the Board of Health received something from Springfield, Environmental, is it the Environmental Association or
Mass DEP.
Mass
Yeah,
DEP?
DP.
And they forwarded that to us. And I was hoping that Ben would be able to investigate that.
Yeah, so I would second that we should have Ben investigate it, cause I'm just reading the bottom of the email where it says that they were forwarding it to us. The open dumping described is a matter of the Board of Health. So that it's a local concern,
So this is a Board of Health issue.
correct?
All right, so
And Conservation Commission as well.
Mhm.
can somebody make sure Ben puts it on his list?
Yeah,
I'll see him, but I can tell you he's not
That's-
gonna jump on this, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
but I think, I don't know if I forwarded to conservation. I think somebody did send it to conservation, but I don't know who's really running the show there.
Right,
I met the new person, but I haven't really spoken with her yet.
right.
We'll let Ben take care of that. Okay. Hampshire Public Health Shared Services Collaborative. I'm gonna, as of July 1st, have Ben be our person there unless anybody else here, Margaret or Emma, feels that that's something that a meeting that they would like to attend.
Can I?
I know, you're so
Yeah.
funny.
I'm waiting.
no, I mean, I think it's sort of appropriate.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know, for
They're all
him to
paid
be-
staff.
Right,
right,
right. I don't wanna welcome Ben back with,
Yeah, do this.
Okay.
right.
he's got a
You-
lot on his plate.
You didn't
so-
attend a meeting, so all of a sudden you're the chair.
Right, so I'm gonna talk to him about that and also about start going to the department head meetings that are held.
On Tuesday, are they still on
Monthly.
Tuesdays?
Wednesdays.
Oh.
If everybody's, if you're okay with, because I don't wanna do
Mhm.
it either.
Well, I think now that there's going to be a full-time paid staff, it's the most appropriate human.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I'll drop that on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Mosquito management, apparently you can't opt out anymore. There's something going on, but there's nothing that we have to do.
Well, I know 2 years ago, even if you locally opt out, they can override it.
Right, but I think even that's been taken away.
Oh,
But anyway,
wow.
they're,
Okay.
they're forming some kind of coalition or I don't know. Food truck permitting.
What about 10, the update on
Oh,
opiate?
update on the opioid settlement funds meeting.
I don't know what that is.
Are we getting settlement funds?
Yes, we are. Well, supposedly we are. I don't know
So-
if that came into the free money that was alluded to. Uh, town meeting.
The Hadley Board of Health is getting that money?
No, but I thought why were we involved in that then? Oh, maybe I
So-
misunderstood that.
No.
That happens to me all
Can
the
you
time.
scope that out?
Yeah, Peter, what
Well-
were you gonna say?
Well, yeah, here's how I heard about it. So this Hampshire Public Health Shared Services Collaborative, da, 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 da. On the last meeting agenda, somebody mentioned that by way of the opioid settlement, all the lawsuits and all that stuff,
Right,
that each town is going to get something. And that's all they said.
oh, okay.
So I think I sent it to the three of you saying, hey, oh, by the way, from this meeting.
Yeah.
In my minutes, it appears we're going to be getting some money.
Mm.
I don't know
But that was it.
how it
yeah.
comes to us. or who
Yeah, and
gets
it's in
it.
installments and each, like CVS, Walgreens have so many years in which to disperse that money, et cetera, et
It's not
cetera.
coming to us.
So it's not coming to us,
Not
okay.
our
Yeah.
issue. We did nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Although, I would
Food
love to do
truck
health.
permitting after town meeting vote?
So my understanding from the town meeting last Thursday was that the town voted, the majority of the voters there voted to allow the seasonal food truck
Mm.
permitting.
No,
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 That's
so that
different.
was not what was voted on.
okay,
So it was to limit where food trucks could be permitted to exclude the one part of town where there's residential areas, which is where like Woodlawn is, Meadowbrook, up in North Hadley. That's like the one true just residential section. And then the other part of it, was that they had to, certainly be approved by Board of Health, but then the end game, I believe, was that and Select Board. Cause I was sitting right in the front row.
so, and the reason why I asked Margaret to put it on the agenda is
Mhm.
that we still have an individual in town
Mm-hmm,
who's a business owner, not in the area that you mentioned,
mm-hmm.
um, is of the belief that what the town passed Thursday night, and I had left by then,
Mm-hmm.
that the town had approved seasonal food trucks if approved by Board of Health, and I think might have been Select Board or
It
Planning.
was Select Board.
I forget which.
I,
So
it was nothing
so I
about
don't know.
approving annual food trucks
okay.
specifically. It was about approving food trucks. Nothing about
Okay.
duration
Okay, so basically for us, for the Board of Health, we issue food truck permits. We issue a 1 day
or an annual.
or an annual, and that's, nothing is changing for us.
So so wait a minute. So what's the difference between annual and seasonal?
No, so for us, it's the same. If there's nothing different, that's the same thing for us. Most food trucks don't run in the winter.
Right.
So I think that's just a matter of like language.
It's a 1 year permit that
Right.
we get.
So let me make sure I'm clear.
Mhm.
So if somebody sends an application for a food truck for spring, summer, and fall. So let's say 8 months, 9
Yeah.
months, whatever, and it comes to the Board of Health.
Yep,
Can
we can approve them in terms of food.
Based on
Based
our
off of
rules
our
and
rules.
regulations.
That does not mean that still means that they need to be approved by the select board to be at the different locations.
What if they're at the same location?
So that it's up to the select board to,
The point is that we don't have anything to do with whether they are or are not allowed to be at a certain place.
correct,
All we're doing is saying
food, right?
that food is health it meets qualifications.
And
And
we're s-
we permit them for that.
And we're staying out of the rest of it.
So,
Right.
so again, and I'm kind of speaking for me and for Ben,
Yep,
because Ben's got a big one sitting on the front burner when he comes into
Mhm.
work. So regardless of location where this food truck is going, that the Board of Health is agnostic.
correct.
Right.
That
We
is
don't
not,
really care.
we should not.
It's not
Be
our,
getting
it's
in-
not our
involved in that.
it's not our purview.
You know, I actually think that's on the website.
If they apply for an application from the permit from the Board of Health, we permit them based on Board of Health standards. You know, Ben inspects them and they pay the fee. They either pay a 1-day fee or they pay the yearly seasonal
Yeah.
fee. That's it.
So the part about the select board. So it sounds like the select board then will either approve or not approve
Right.
the location.
That's my understanding from how it was presented at town meeting.
We're only giving permission from the health perspective. We're not giving them permission to go anywhere and do whatever we're not getting it. We're not involved in that.
So what we have on the website says, please note that the town may require other permits and licenses. It's up to the vendor to ensure that all of the town regulations and requirements are met.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
So again, my last question on behalf of Ben.
Mhm.
So does it or does it not make sense to have the food truck vendor go in front of the select board first?
Well, Ben, you can explain to them, Ben should explore you, whoever's doing the permitting before they pay, you should explain to them that
That they should do
if they
that.
apply for the permit from the health board, what we are giving them, what the permit means. And that they still need to go before the select board before they would be allowed to use their food truck. So it's up
Yes.
to them which way they want to do it.
Them being the food truck vendor.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like our purview is very narrow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I want, my goal for us as a board is to really try and not get distracted with what I call noise of things that aren't within our mission
Exactly,
and
that's what I'm
purview.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Peter, it's got a point.
Oh,
because
sure.
People are gonna pay, and then if the select board says no, I guess we'll just refund them
Yeah.
their money.
So I just pulled up Article 23 and there was 3 parts of it. So one was that to add food truck to the zoning part because food trucks weren't even on there. The second part was to define what a food truck is. And then the initial statement of it was like how basically that it was between Board of Health and Select Board to be approved.
I do remember that, yeah, that it still had to
Peter,
go
what do
before
you
the
look-
select
So,
board.
Not happy.
yeah, so, well, no.
I know, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
not happy.
So if I take myself out of the Board of Health and out of the town of Hadley, just looking at it from a process viewpoint, it's almost backwards doing it Board of Health first, Select Board second.
Right,
So, I mean,
To me, it makes much more sense to have the vendor go to the Select Board. If the Select Board says no, why is Ben even dealing with it?
yep,
well, there's a whole, here in the warrant, there's a whole application requirement and procedure section that was on the one that was emailed to us, but at least at my town email, but I don't remember when we got a printout of the warrant that night, it was not in full. And it talks about submitting completed food truck applications with approvals to town departments to the principal clerk. And then the administrator's office will schedule an application on the select board agenda. And then they have to present the application will be heard by the select board and then the decision will be rendered.
All right,
So-
so
so-
it sounds like that's backwards.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, but it's,
It's not, yeah,
It really is. And again, looking
Yeah.
at it from the vendor's viewpoint.
right.
So,
Why would the vendor come to Ben
no, no, that's a good point.
and ask for
No,
approval for his food truck?
agree with
But-
you
but-
completely.
Then have Jane and
It's
Skip
already
say,
but-
say
So,
we
so
were
Anna,
asked in terms of
Right.
in perspective, information, thought with building this warrant article. I mean, it sounds like it was built without,
They should have thought about that, but they did.
but they didn't.
you know, I mean, the other piece to that is it's already up in red on our website that the town may require other permits and licenses, and it's up to them to ensure. No, I hear what you're saying. So I mean, I don't know how to present that information necessarily without being really wordy on our website. I guess I can.
Well,
I can certainly say, but I mean, but
Because it's saying we have to get the permits from everybody else before you
and
go to
then
the select.
okay.
it,
Well, then we reimburse at this point
what I'm
until
saying.
until it gets sorted out at a higher level.
I mean, not that we have a lot of demand for people or for vendors that are going to use a food truck in Hadley more than once. You know, there are a couple that, will do an event at the Young Men's Club. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the meeting, there is a number of people that want to participate in the Asparagus Festival, which is great. But again, we do have one food truck that wants to be at a business location
And it sounds like,
for like 4 or 5 months.
right, and that's one that's gonna need to get a license from the town, I
You
think.
know, on the other hand, I can sort of understand why the town is saying, get all your permits first, because from their perspective, if they don't pass the food truck, or they don't, I mean, the Board of Health inspection, or they don't pass something else, then they're wasting the select board's time. So at some point, it gets bounced back and forth in terms of who's,
Peter,
what
all my
processes are.
at some point, if the opportunity comes up, you could talk to the forces that be and describe the ambiguity, not ambiguities here, but the
Well,
horse
Process.
before the
Yeah,
and what,
horse before the car.
yeah, and what I'm reading here too is that there's an exception excluded from operation of these regulations are events licensed by the town of Hadley at which the event organizer proposes to have food trucks, and food trucks hired for private events on private property do not require a license and are exempt.
Okay, we'll have,
Right.
So, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think
Right.
this is more, it'll come out in the wash as,
all right, so the other reason why I brought it up and asked Margaret to put it on the agenda is, I want to make sure Ben knows
Yeah.
what direction he's going in.
Mhm.
Because again, he has to
Yeah.
around, I just don't want him to get
Yep,
blindsided.
yep.
Okay, good.
All right, health inspector's role moving forward. Okay, as of July 1st, Ben will be our health director. I spoke with Jen about changing his job title, and she didn't know how to do it, but she was gonna talk to Carolyn when Carolyn gets back, and Ben will be our full-time health director, and we will be here to support him
Mhm.
in whatever ways he needs and desires. And we'll have him come and report to us once a month. He knows he can call any of us for anything.
Mhm.
And I think it's great news for the town and for the Board of Health.
Really good.
Yeah.
Very happy about that. The 3-hour increase, I have spoken with the parties And we are going to, leave those for weeks that are busier
Yeah.
and time periods that are busier, and if Ben has greater needs and
Yep.
Peter's available,
Permitting season.
they'll work the two of them. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't
That's-
wanna micromanage.
Yes,
the
that's
time.
exactly what it is that, so there's a seasonality
Yeah,
to what we
For
do.
sure.
And so, yeah, in the wintertime or December, I should say, December, January,
Mhm.
a lot of renewals, a lot going on.
Mhm.
A lot. Other periods of time, not so much. So there'll be weeks where and happened this year already, where I may work, a 12-hour week for the Board of Health and I'm
Yeah.
budgeted for 7.
Yeah.
The next week, I may work
3.
6
Or whatever,
or
yeah.
4 or 3
So-
or whatever.
You and Ben are
Yeah, we,
Working it
yeah,
out.
we
working it out, and whatever works for you, we support that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a rhythm already in place,
Okay.
and as I think I told Susan the other day, when we were permitting the Grass is Greener event, I mean, we had a process down where we were literally approving and processing permits the day before the event. So the event
Mhm.
was on Friday. We were still pumping out permits on Thursday,
Mhm.
just to
Great,
keep the parties, all the stakeholders happy, so to speak.
thank you.
But again, we
for-
had a process down that it worked. So
Thank you for all your work, Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, Board of Health initiatives, interest for the next 3 years. Well, we have an election next week.
Yeah, I think we should table
We
this.
can't be sure that
Yeah.
it's gonna be the three of us,
Mhm.
here at
Yep.
the next meeting. And if I am not here, I want to thank everybody. It's really been an incredible privilege to work with all of you. You
And likewise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
And same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your leadership and what you bring to the table, the two of you, has been very, very helpful, I think, for the town and in achieving certain goals.
Thank you.
That improve the safety of the overall health in this town, so.
Thank you.
Make sure you campaign Saturday morning at
At the
the dump. That is the social center of the town.
That's the
Saturday
place.
mornings. It's the 7 o'clock. And if you can't help people take their trash out of the vehicles, go stand near the book shed. But don't let them out until you let them know that you're. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's where people campaign.
And the book shed is doing well.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I have two lovely helpers,
Okay,
Jean and Earl Shumway. They're terrific.
That's great.
So we take turns going there. We, make sure the books are shelved, and sometimes people dump books that no one wants, and we
Mhm.
take them, mostly Jean and Earl have been doing, which is terrific, over to in East Hampton on Northampton Road, that recycling place.
Mhm.
It's a
oh,
place
yes,
where you
yes,
can
yes.
bring books for free, and they recycle them.
Cool.
But it's gotten a lot of use, and the people who work at the transfer station tell me people love it. People
Good.
just really like it. I'm thrilled with it.
It's great.
So, I didn't go this Wednesday, but I'll go there. It's like one more thing, but I'll go Saturday and take a look at it. So that's, I can't think of anything else. Can anybody think of anything else?
So I think you guys need to go back and accept the previous minutes.
Oh, forgot. Yes, can we accept the previous
I'll
minutes?
do a motion.
Second, and all
All
in
in
favor?
Okay.
Passes unanimously.
Oh, okay, well, okay, if we've closed, if we haven't closed the meeting yet, I have, Haley was wondering if we would set like the second Thursday of the month
Mhm.
as our general meeting time, and of course, if it's a holiday or whatever, we could always switch it, but she said that
To
would,
help with room
Work.
reservations kind of thing.
what's that?
To help with room reservations.
Yeah, it would just help her, and I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine with
Why
me.
don't we set it for the second Thursday?
Second Thursday of the month.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah,
And, like a couple of weeks. before, just if it's not gonna work for you, that's fine, we can switch it.
Yeah.
We just need a little heads up time. What date is the next?
Yeah.
June 8th.
Okay, so the next one would be June 8th, that's fine with me.
The day before my birthday? Come on.
What's
We
it-
should have it close to town then.
Right.
I know. I know.
What did he say?
It's his
Day,
birthday.
day
The day before. The day before.
We know how to party.
Second Thursday.
sure we look like the type.
Okay, so we will,
I
close the
make a
meeting.
motion, yeah, to
Accept.
adjourn,
Second.
Good. done.
favor,